Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fadli bin Muhammad Mazuki. Today our group will present about our topic, which is My Salam Health Insurance Scheme. The National Health Protection Scheme was introduced by the government of Malaysia to help people with low income. It's mainly support the B40 group and those who receive the government cash as assistance such as STR, PPR, and BHH. This scheme provides free health insurance based on takaful, so eligible people do not need to pay any fees. The scheme gives a lump sum payment if a person is diagnosed with certain critical illness. It also provides a daily hospital allowance for those who are admitted to the hospital, set to a set limit. This money can help cover daily expenses while the patient is receiving treatment. The main goal of this scheme is to reduce the financial burden of medical costs and to help vulnerable groups get a basic health protection. It also support the country's social safety net and promote equal access to healthcare. However, there are still some challenges such as low public about uh, awareness problem in the claim process and limited coverage for illness, which better benefit and improve services. This scheme has some potential to help millions of Malaysia across the country. That's all for me. Thank you.
Background and description of case. First, what happened first? What happened is this case is that the Malaysian government introduced the My Salam scheme as a form of social health protection for the B40 group. This scheme was created because the existing public healthcare system and private insurance market do not fully protect individuals from financial risk caused by critical illness. Although treatment at public hospital is inexpensive, indirect costs such as income loss and daily expenses remain a heavy burden. Therefore, My Salam was introduced to provide financial assistance in the form of cash payment. This reflects government intervention to correct market failure in the health insurance sector. Second, who are the players in the My Salam scheme? The main sector is the Malaysian government through the Ministry of Finance, which is the policy maker and main funder. Great Eastern Takaful Berhad is appointed as the sole operator responsible for managing enrollment, claim and payment. The Ministry of Health and Public Hospital play an important role in providing medical verification for claim. Lastly, the B40 group are the beneficiaries and primary target of the scheme. Background and description of case. First, what happened first? What happened is this case is that the Malaysian government introduced the My Salam scheme as a form of social health protection for the B40 group. This scheme was created because the existing public healthcare system and private insurance market do not fully protect individuals from financial risk caused by critical illness. Although treatment at public hospital is inexpensive, indirect costs such as income loss and daily expenses remain a heavy burden. Therefore, My Salam was introduced to provide financial assistance in the form of cash payment. This reflects government intervention to correct market failure in the health insurance sector. Second, who are the players in the My Salam scheme? The main sector is the Malaysian government through the Ministry of Finance, which is the policy maker and main funder. Great Eastern Takaful Berhad is appointed as the sole operator responsible for managing enrollment, claim and payment. The Ministry of Health and Public Hospital play an important role in providing medical verification for claim. Lastly, the B40 group are the beneficiaries and primary target of the scheme.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Farhani Irani binti Muhammad Nazri, S70996. I'm present for strategic players and payoff.
In this analysis, we focus two main strategic players, which are the governments of Malaysia and the B14 beneficiaries under My Salam scheme. The beneficiaries want to get the maximum health benefits, so the government can choose limited or expanded coverage, while benefits can choose while beneficiaries can choose to use the benefits carefully or overuse them. So these setups help us explain the moral hazard problem in the My Salam scheme. Okay, for this slide show the payoff matrix. The payoff represent welfare outcomes, not actually money values. Beneficiaries have an incentive to overuse healthcare service because they do not pay the full cost. So based on this, create moral hazard. To control costs, government needs to limit coverage in the My Salam scheme.
My name is Nurusna binti Nurji, S69987. For this slide 3.4, prediction outcome dash equilibrium, each player, which is government and also beneficiaries, has two strategy, which is the government may choose between limited coverage, G1, or expanded coverage, G2, while the beneficiaries may choose between prudent utilization, B1, or overutilization, B2, as outlined in the payoff metric constructed in section 3.3. Based on this metric, beneficiaries face a dominant strategy, which is of overutilization, as their welfare payoff is higher under both coverage regime due to low marginal healthcare costs. Consequently, the Nash equilibrium of the game is G1 and also B2, where the government adopts limited coverage and beneficiaries overutilize healthcare service. Combination of expanded coverage and prudent utilization will yield higher welfare for both players. The persistence of the equilibrium therefore reflect the moral hazard problem inherent in publicly funded health insurance schemes such as My Salam. For this slide, I will explain about the comparison between predicted outcome and the real-world outcomes. First aspect that we can compare between these two is government strategy. For theoretical prediction, the government chose limited coverage to minimize fiscal risk and control rising insurance claim, while in real-world outcome, the government introduced benefit caps, stricter eligibility rules, and tighter claim procedures after observing rising claims. Second aspect is beneficiaries' behavior. For theoretical prediction, beneficiaries overutilize healthcare services, insurance lower out the pocket cost, while real-world beneficiaries increase healthcare usage, especially for previously unaffordable treatment but not to an extreme level. Next aspect is utilization intensity. For predicted outcome, overutilization is high and payoff maximizing for beneficiaries, while real-world overutilization exists but is moderated by institutional controls and awareness. Then aspect decision process. For predicted outcome, the government set coverage, beneficiaries respond with overuse, while in real-world government sets the coverage for beneficiaries to respond, government revises policy. Lastly, aspect role of institution. For predicted outcome, is not explicitly considered in the basic model, while the real world is monitoring system, digital claims, and also provider panels to reduce excessive claims. Okay, next, in 3.6, explanation of deviation from theory. One key reason actual outcomes deviate from poor game theory prediction is bounded rationality. Standard models assume beneficiaries fully understand benefit limits, eligibility condition, and also optimization strategy. In reality, many MySalam beneficiaries lack detailed knowledge of claim rules or uncertain about what conditions qualify. As a result, some individuals do not overutilize even when it will increase their theoretical payoff, weakening the dominance of strategy B2. Next is information asymmetry further complicates the model. Beneficiaries possess private information about their health status and lifestyle that the government cannot perfectly observe. While theory predicts widespread moral hazard, real-world constraints such as medical gatekeeping and hospital approval procedures. These frictions alter the effective payoff structure. Thirdly, behavioral and ethical consideration also matter. Many beneficiaries choose prudent utilization B1 not because it maximizes payoff, but because they view abuse of the system as morally wrong. Lastly, political and institutional constraints limit the government's ability to enforce strict penalties. Excessively harsh monitoring or punishments could trigger public backlash and undermine trust in public policy. As a result, the government tolerates some inefficiency and accepting a second-best equilibrium rather than the theoretical optimal one. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Noeliana Farisha binti Zubir, metric number S71496. This slide explains how MySalam affects household investment behavior from an intertemporal perspective. Without health insurance, low-income households face high-income uncertainty, which pushes them to prioritize short-term liquidity and precautionary saving rather than long-term investment. The graph illustrates this mechanism. The uninsured budget constraint is steeper and more restrictive in the illness state, reflecting sharp income loss. With MySalam, the insured budget constraint shifts outward, increasing minimum future consumption. For risk-averse households, this allows movement to a higher indifferent curve, meaning higher expected utility even if illness does not occur. By reducing downside risk rather than increasing income directly, MySalam encourages households to smooth consumption over time and invest more in education skills and productive activities. Next, I will explain how MySalam affects household discounting behavior and intertemporal choice under risk. Without health insurance, future consumption is highly uncertain due to the risk of illness, causing low-income households to discount the future heavily and favor present consumption. MySalam reduces catastrophic health risk and raises the minimum level of future consumption, making future outcomes more credible. As a result, the effective discount rate declines, increasing the present value of long-term investment such as education, skill formation, and preventive health expenditure. Even though the expected monetary benefit may be modest, the welfare gain is large because insurance protects households in low consumption state where marginal utility is highest. Next, this slide highlights how MySalam influences asset valuation and expectations over the household life cycles. Health shocks reduce the expected present value of lifetime income by impairing productivity and forcing distressed sales of productive assets. MySalam provides liquidity during illness, helping households preserve human capital and avoid irreversible asset liquidation. By stabilizing asset values and income expectations, the scheme supports forward-looking behavior and improve responsiveness to interest rate changes. This credibility effect strengthens long-term planning and indirectly enhance financial stability among low-income households.
Okay, my name is Nuri Fatin Akila binti Hasmil Fitri as 70071. I with my partner Tuan Nur Mahani Putri binti Tuan Mat as 71989. So this section use a general equilibrium approach which look at how a policy affect multiple market at the same time. In this case of My Salam, the scheme does not only affect the healthcare market but also the labour market, household behaviour and government finance. The main purpose of My Salam is to correct market failure such as the inability of the B40 group to access insurance, income, constraints during illness and positive health externalities. Okay, for the next slide, in the healthcare market, My Salam increased financial protection, which shift the demand for healthcare to the right as more individuals seek treatment when needed. In the labour market, better access to healthcare allows faster recovery, leading to higher productivity and labour supply. This effect also creates positive externalities such as a healthier workforce and lower long-term healthcare costs for society.
Okay, for this spike, from an efficiency perspective, a free healthcare market is not further efficient due to market failures. My Salam helps reduce network loss and improve consumer welfare. Although the scheme involves fiscal costs, the overall social benefits are greater than the costs, making My Salam consistent with the Cardo-Hicks efficiency principle. Making My Salam consistent with the Cardo-Hicks efficiency principle. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Zuhusni bin Mustafa. I want to present about asymmetry information, moral hazard, adverse selection, and signaling. This slide explains asymmetric information in the My Salam scheme. Participants know their true health condition better than the insurer, while the operator depends on limited eligibility and medical information. This creates three problems. First, moral hazard, where insured individuals may reduce preventive care or delay yearly treatment because costs are covered. Second, adverse selection, where high-risk individuals use the scheme more actively than low-risk participants. Third, signaling, where medical report and certified diagnosis help distinguish genuine claims and reduce misuse. How asymmetric information shape outcome as a result? Claims are concentrated among high-risk participants, increasing the scheme cost. Moral hazard raises average claim expenses and worsens financial pressure. To control this, strict verification procedures are used, but also make claim more complex, causing some eligible B40 participants to miss benefits. Government funding signal credibility and social commitment, but also make the scheme fiscally dependent. Overall, My Salam reflects a trade-off between economic efficiency and social equity.
My name is Muhammad Hasib Abdul Kadir S70056. Okay, today I want to present for my part. Okay, role of institution, regulator and media. Institution, regulator and media play a crucial role in reducing information asymmetry and sustaining market efficiency. Institutions establish rule, standard and verification mechanisms such as contract, enforcement, certification, audit and professional license to exchange information, credibility and reduce uncertainty. Regulator ensure transparency through mandatory ensure safety standard and risk control, preventing adverse selection and moral hazard. Media act as an informal watchdog by exposing misconduct, spreading information, and shaping reputational incentives through journalist review and public awareness. Together, these actors strengthen market trust, reduce information costs, and ensure further efficient market participation. Long-term impact on trust and efficiency. Percentage asymmetry information has serious long-term effect on market trust and economic efficiency. Repeated misinformation and hidden risk erode consumer and investor trust, reducing market participation, allocative and productivity efficiency decline as resources are mislocated and firm prioritize signal of the real quality improvement. Market may evolve into segmented or concentrated, structure limiting access to quality good and increasing inequality. Over time, weak transparency undermines institution credibility and sharp unethical business norm. Without effective regulating an information system, market face reduced innovation, low growth, and long-term economic instability.
For the slide, I will briefly explain the role and effectiveness of the MySalam scheme. MySalam reflects a shift in Malaysia's social protection approach by recognizing that illness is not only a health issue but also an economic shock, especially for B40 households. By providing a lump sum cash assistance, the scheme helps households cope with immediate financial stress, such as income loss and daily expenses. Economically, this support consumption, smoothing and reduce reliance on informal borrowing. However, despite this strength, several challenges remain. One major issue is the low utilization rate, mainly due to limited awareness and difficulties in the digital claim process. There are also equity concerns, as households with similar financial needs may receive different level of protection depending on illness coverage. In addition, the scheme includes many chronic conditions, and the fixed benefit may lose value over time due to inflation.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Kazriani binti Rosman. My group number is 71519. I will be presenting the conclusion of our presentation. Firstly, MySalam is a government health protection scheme designed to reduce financial risks from health shocks among B40 households. The scheme addresses market value in private health insurance, especially problems such as adverse selection and the exclusion of high-risk individuals. The second, by providing automatic and government-funded coverage, MySalam improves social welfare and help ensure fair access to health protection. Although more hazard may exist, it is controlled through benefit limits, eligibility criteria, and medical verification mechanism. MySalam also reduce income among low-income households. It lowers the need for precautionary saving and reduce the risk of selling assets during health emergency. In addition, the scheme creates positive spillover effects by improving population health, labor productivity, and overall economic stability. In conclusion, MySalam shows that well-designed government intervention can correct health insurance market value while supporting inclusive and sustainable economic development. And thank you.